Hello, Sparkle Pony Gia. How are
Hel-
you?
Hello, Sparkle Pony Keisha. We're going to be sparkly and magical to make up for last time when
Yeah, yeah,
we were crappy and we had technical difficulties. But we can't
right.
promise that we won't have technical difficulties because,
And that we won't be crappy this time also.
well, right. But we'll do our best.
We'll do our best. And I'm having the last of my Dutch Barn vodka. It's like 95% tonic and then a little Dutch Barn. But
Yeah, and I had like 3 or 4 beers. I don't know. I don't
so
even
we'll
know.
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll
I
see. We'll
guess.
see. Yeah. Anyway,
Right?
um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have all that much material to deal with, honestly.
Uh,
But
well, before we get into it, once again, I'd like to
what?
point out the rift that's developing on Facebook,
What are
thanks
you
to
talking about?
just there's the people who do know about these shows and these characters that
Oh,
are
there's no
beloved by
rift. There's
you.
no rift.
Well, I feel like the people who are on Team Keisha, the
Yeah,
normal people,
yeah.
are feeling like they have to apologize for not having heard of whatever the fuck these monsters are that you delighted you as a child.
Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Okay, now so I just have to explain because this was kind of a magical moment for me. So somebody said something about
Oh,
I posted a
okay, yeah.
picture of Sigmund and the Sea Monsters because you hadn't seen the show, and I was like, like maybe the picture would spark your memory, but you don't
Nope,
even look at that page, so we don't care. But
I did and it did not.
anyway, somebody else said, "Is that Jody from A Family Affair?" Family Affair? Is that the right
Yes,
family?
and
Yeah.
and then you asked me, was that show in black and white?
I was like, I think that show's a little before my time.
Black and white
I
America.
think it might have been in black and white. So anyway, I googled it. It's like,
Mhm.
yes, it's the same kid. Okay, and here's the magical moment that happened. Okay,
S
I was
Okay,
like, I was like levitating. So I think
like
the person that asked about this was kind of like, yeah, like calm down. Um, but I was like floored by this connection. So the child actor that played, I don't know what the character's name was, but on Sigmund
Mhm,
and the Sea Monsters, and
mhm,
played Jody on A Family Affair,
mhm.
played the young Scotty Baldwin on General Hospital.
Did you
Like,
I don't think I've ever heard that noise coming out of your mouth before.
but isn't that a weird connection that
It's
we would be
very
talking about
weird.
this? It's
It's very
weird.
weird. It's weird. Let's just accept that it's super
Yeah.
weird. And also, like, I who would have thought that there had been another Scotty? Because Ken
Like,
Shriner seems like the
well, I think
Scotty.
this was like the child actor
Yeah, and I
of
guess that
Scotty.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that there was a younger Scotty at some
Yeah.
point. But
And he
yeah,
was a cute young guy, and he was cute in all those
mm-hmm.
shows. And then he grew
Yeah.
up, and he was kind of an ugly man. But that's beside the point.
Ouch! Wow, is he still alive?
No, I'm afraid he's passed.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's okay to say that then,
Say,
Gia. But
well, yeah, I just mean, and that I think that's
that's
the
the
way it
beer
goes.
talking.
It could be. I did have a few beers. They were Hawaiian beers, something called Kona.
Oh, okay.
Kona,
I
yeah,
think
liquid.
everything
Yeah.
in Hawaii is called Kona, isn't it?
Is that what it? I don't know. But anyway, the bartender was like, "You like weird stuff? I've got the Hawaiian beer." I'm like,
Mm.
"Yeah, go for it."
So that's the
Um,
brief on you out in the world. You like weird stuff.
yeah. Um,
That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
like because I'm not
Uh-huh.
drinking Ultra. But anyway,
Imagine if like your bartender guys like bumped into your team of doctors and they started like chatting about
I
you.
know, yeah.
There'd be a lot of nodding, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
like
knowing sort of knowing
yeah,
glances about like, yeah,
exactly. Like, yeah,
like
she's
she's
a
a freaking
handful, isn't
she's a
she? Yeah.
handful, she's a freaking pain in the ass, and yeah,
Yeah, all of those things. And that reminds me, I know you haven't watched St. Dennis
what?
Medical.
No, because I
It's
don't know what streaming service you've got to have for these
well,
various
it's on
shows.
the
So.
networks. It's on NBC.
Oh, okay, all right.
But there was an episode with a patient who he was one of those people like you who Googles everything and then was challenging the doctors relentlessly. The only difference was, he was like younger, and I think they were sort of threatened by him, but
Yeah.
like with
Oh,
you, I'm sure it's
they're
more
threatened by
like
me. They're threatened by me.
maybe in a different way. Like, is she going to have a ride home, or are we going to have to deal with her all day? That kind of threatened, but
All
it,
right.
it cracked me up. It made me think of a lot of you.
I will be proven correct in the end. But I mean, it won't
What
matter. I'll be
what
dead. But
yeah,
like,
exactly. What's that victory parade gonna look
yeah.
like?
Pyrrhic, is that the name? Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
dear.
anyway, but isn't that a funky connection that Scotty
It
Baldwin?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
a lot of times these child actors, they're like interesting looking as children. It makes them good,
Mhm.
sort of. But then they like when they grow up, they're not necessarily what the world wants as an actor. You know,
Right.
what makes
That
them
would
interesting looking as children doesn't necessarily pan out in the adult
Right,
world.
right. Imagine that, what sort of
Mhm.
blow that would be to someone who
Yeah,
had dedicated their childhood
yeah.
to that.
But Sigmund and the Sea Monsters was really just like this kid had this sea monster, and the whole every episode was just trying to keep the monster hidden, like from the world. Like that was the whole, like
Okay.
just
Was
yeah,
it
that's
like
it.
sort
It
of like
wasn't complicated.
was it like a
I'm
metaphor for something that he was trying to
not
keep hidden?
sure. I don't
Okay.
know, but it was, it was, these were innocent times.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I'm sorry you
Yeah.
didn't see any of this stuff.
Yeah, who knows? The trajectory of my life might have been completely different.
Might have been. I think it's just maybe because you were older, and so I don't know what shows you were watching.
The way you said older, you're implying that it's like a significant amount of years between us, and,
What is it? Is it 3? Is that what it
it
is?
it's 3, Gia, it's 3. The short side of 3, so
The short side of 3. I don't even know what that means, but
well, your birthday's in June, mine's in October, so it's like a
oh, so
little
yeah,
bit
that's
less.
yeah, a little bit of a yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, anyway, but sometimes it seems like we're worlds apart, doesn't it?
It sure does. And sometimes I wish we were.
And we're further apart than we
I
are.
know. Can we put a couple more planets between us, please?
We could try
Yeah.
Uranus. Um,
Oh, boy. Maybe there
okay.
was enough vodka in that bottle to get me going.
Do you want to talk about General Hospital at all,
I
or
guess so. Let's give that a try and see what happens.
okay?
Okay.
What do we got? What do you got? Bring it.
Well, I sort of plowed through all 3 episodes, tonight after I watched The Masters, but,
The Masters golf.
yeah, around 1 today,
All right.
yeah, so, I didn't give myself enough time really to watch any episode more than once, and they all bled together, but there was a lot of unpleasantness. A lot of the characters that we didn't miss over the last, week or so were back front and center, right? Like
I feel like there was a lot
Sidwell.
of Sidwell. Yeah, a lot of Sidwell going
Yeah.
on.
Ugh, and he was just like he's just
Uh,
they're not making him any more, like, complicated or interesting, he's
No,
just a
he's just like
smarmy
a
bastard.
cartoon villain or something.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know, this whole, like, doing business with him, deception doing business with him
Yeah,
feels
I
very
like.
bad.
I know, and it makes me like a little upset with Maxie for kind
Yeah.
of going like what's her. I don't know. I know why didn't Tracy hold out? Like what's
I know. I guess it feels like they've been backed into a corner, like there's no other source of this mineral, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crucial to the success of the business. So I guess they're sort of acting out of desperation a little bit. Not Tracy so much, but definitely Maxie and
Yeah. I mean, and they did
Lucy.
point out everybody here has broken laws, but it's like, right, but not everybody here has held people at gunpoint
Yeah,
and,
tried to,
or
like,
maybe they have. I don't know. Maybe they have.
maybe they have, but, yeah, he
Um,
also blew up that warehouse where Sasha was, I mean,
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It felt like you needed a shower after they made
Yeah,
that deal.
exactly,
Yeah.
like, they all I'm sure Maxie and Tracy probably both feel kinda shitty about going along with that.
Yeah. So
I
too much
can't
Sidwell. And we got a
Yeah,
fair amount of Marco. We got
yeah,
um Natalia and Marco.
mhm.
Um And so are we safe in assuming that Blaze has a different father than Sidwell? Like,
That's
I
what
feel
it
like,
sounded like, yeah,
okay.
that's exact yeah,
Which I
that
guess that doesn't matter. She seems to be erased from the whole
right,
um
right.
landscape here.
Yeah, but it seemed so silly, the conversation she had with Marco, where she was so mad that he didn't become a rock star or
I
something,
know
you
it
know?
like the writing of this little storyline is ridiculous. It's
It
like,
was
yeah,
preposterous.
yeah.
I mean, and especially because he looked so corporate, like, you couldn't really picture him, like, tearing it up on stage or anything,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
like what kind of music does this guy play? I can't imagine.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
so that all seemed silly to me, and then, they made it apparent that she did know he was gay and that she acted like that wasn't a factor at all, really, and almost like it well, I guess he did mention that she tried to put him back in the closet, so I guess in their past, probably he had the same sort of, uh, dynamic with her as Blaze where, he couldn't
Yeah.
be
I think
himself.
they've fumbled with this Natalia character one too many times. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they've tried to relaunch her over and over, and I thought
right,
today the fact that they like Sunny was sort of dismissing her, I was like, okay, so
mhm.
now what are we gonna do with her? Like
Yeah,
that was sort of the role she had there was her connection to Sunny, and so
right, right.
what are we doing with her? I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah. I did think I mean, we can talk a little bit more about her, also, but I thought that was a bit of personal growth on his part. I mean, he did make a good point that he needed everybody in his inner circle to be completely trustworthy,
Trustworthy,
but
yeah,
to sorta
yeah.
cast her aside, like, this is the first time he's sorta gonna be without a woman, and he's in this
Yeah.
vulnerable
Yeah, I thought
place,
that
you
was
know?
interesting that they had that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, getting back to what her future holds, unless this whole, like, deception Sidwell thing turns into something terrible and she has to kind of, like, get involved, and protect these new friends of hers from him, I can't see anything else happening with that
Right, yeah, they're
character.
gonna have to do something more with her. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
yeah,
weird.
it
It's
is
a
weird.
weird it's a
Yeah.
weird thing. They seem to love her, whoever put her on
Mhm.
the show, but
Right, right.
they can't figure out what to do with her.
And that shouldn't be that hard, to
It was
figure
she
out.
just had such a disastrous launch.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't know why why they stuck with that position, that she had with Marco, that because we knew that that was her
What
feeling.
the like homophobic thing that
Well and that she was furious that he wasn't becoming a rock
oh, the
star,
guitar, yeah, that
you
you're
know?
being a lawyer instead of a guitar player. Yeah, it
I
was
mean, like,
yeah, it
it
was
was
really quite ridiculous. It was just
Like, if
yeah.
he was a mob lawyer or working for, like, his dad, and she knew he was doing, like, illegal shit, I mean, she could say that, but she just made it sound like he was just a lawyer, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it was ridiculous. It was quite
Yeah,
ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway,
Um,
and I don't know how I feel about him. Like I go
yeah,
back and forth. Sometimes he seems um sketchy and
yeah,
I don't know. There's
right,
something
right.
about like the way he does his mouth is kind of like, what are you doing? Um,
Yeah,
his little
yeah.
mustache. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
we don't and then the whole, like, interviews with, Diane and Alexis were, it's like whatever, he like what's so special about this guy, and there was no
Yeah,
mention of needing anybody before, so that all seems
yeah,
sort of,
yeah.
manufactured just to pull him into Port Charles somehow.
Well, so speaking of Alexis, we did
Yeah,
like there was quite the development with Alexis and Ava.
that's
Um,
true. Yeah.
we should probably unpack that, as the kids say, a little bit. Um,
Okay. Okay. Well, Ava did a nice job, I thought, of being
yep,
her slippery self.
yep,
Um, and I thought I sort of liked when she and Rick were sort of workshopping the various scenarios, and ways they could use the information, and how like Rick wanted to just like get Kristina off the streets, and
right. Rick
arrested.
actually was like concerned about like the safety of the public because
Yeah,
Christina is unhinged, and
yeah, yeah.
oddly enough, I was siding with Rick at that
Right,
point, thinking like,
right.
right, yeah, somebody should be
Mhm,
on the
mhm.
lookout because this woman is like ready
Yeah,
to murder somebody.
yeah, right.
Um,
But of course, Ava realizes there's all kinds
yeah,
of ways to use this information
yeah.
for her personal gain,
I thought
Uh,
that Alexis really held her cool.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, I mean, it'll be interesting to see in the next scene, like when Alexis sees Christina next.
Oh, yeah, I
what will
know.
happen there?
I know. That
Uh,
that was what I was really looking forward to with that storyline, just to see how Alexis is gonna handle Christina.
yeah, because she knows watching that footage. Like, right,
Mhm.
legally, we don't see her actually doing the deed, but Alexis
Right.
must know that
Yeah.
that's damning footage as far
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
what
And whether
Christina did.
Right, right, and whether or not it's really sort of gonna, like, seal the deal, now she knows that Christina's capable of this
Right,
terrible act,
right. So,
so
yeah, it's kind of
yeah.
separating, like putting your lawyer hat on and what can you do to
Yeah,
defend this person
yeah.
in this case, and knowing as a mother,
Mhm,
oh, my
mhm.
daughter was willing to
Yeah,
commit murder,
yeah,
like that's pretty
yeah,
big, pretty
right.
weighty stuff.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
so I
Mhm.
can't believe she kind of held her cool through that.
Yep. Right, right. And yeah, she did a pretty good job of sort of picking apart what Ava thought she had. But then, as soon as Ava starts talking about taking it to Molly, that's a whole different story, because of course Molly's
Yeah,
going to see
yeah.
exactly what it is too.
Yeah, and they've played up the whole like Molly and Christina finally like bonding
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah.
blah blah blobbity blobbity, and yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And Lucky does not come out smelling like a rose in any of this.
No, I thought he was very inconsistent. Like his position
Yeah,
keeps like shifting back and forth, it's it and
yeah,
like and then when he says, okay, so you really have to commit to covering this up, it's
yeah.
like,
They go back
what?
and forth on who's
You
who's
know?
just saying which way you should go with this stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
yeah,
I think that's bad writing too. I think
yeah,
he would
yeah,
have just stuck with like, you fucked up. You have to figure out a way to make this right,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I liked his point that if she's tempted to go to Elizabeth and confess, that's shitty because then she puts it on Elizabeth to decide her fate,
Right, right.
But
Yeah,
even when he
yeah.
was saying that, it wasn't entirely clear that that was the point he was making. It's like, why are they making this so
I know they
convoluted,
like yeah, they I know. Yeah, you're right. I think that is just bad writing. Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like he was looking kind of scuzzy and sketchy about the whole thing. Like why
Mhm.
is he letting himself be pulled down by what she's doing, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, I know like he's grown up sort of like we were talking about, like in this gray area and sort of like accommodating, I guess, these sort of these circumstances, because things happen, that you can't really control. But it does seem like if he's sincere in his wanting to have a real relationship with Elizabeth at this point, he's really sabotaging that, you know?
Yeah, right, right. I know
And
that's not gonna
that's a
go over
bummer.
well. Yeah.
No, it's such a bummer because we've been liking them together so much, you know?
Right. Yeah. And it's funny, like as soon as he's with Christina, I feel like he looks scuzzier and sketchier,
Yeah,
like he needs to wash his
yeah.
hair.
Right, right, and I was wondering, like, yeah, why does Elizabeth's hair look so much fresher than Lucky's when she's just sitting in this bed all day, you know?
Her hair is fresh. Yeah, and will this drive Elizabeth towards Rick like that she
Well,
seemed.
she seems to be drawn to him these days, doesn't
Yeah.
she?
Yeah.
Inexplicably, I don't know, like, what's changed,
Yeah,
why she's
inexplicably,
you
exactly.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he has helped a little bit with some things, so she feels indebted
He's
to
just
him.
it'd probably be cool to have somebody just so completely smitten with you. I've never had that.
Yeah, I
Like, don't know.
nor have I.
I mean, honestly, I really don't know. I know there's people that are like, "Oh, you are so whooped," and it's like, nobody's ever been whooped on me ever. So it's been a little bit of a like, well,
Okay. Whatever. I'm
so
tired
I
of
can't
shopping
imagine
around.
somebody being so whooped on somebody, but that
Mhm,
it
mhm.
would be so flattering, wouldn't it, to have
Yeah,
somebody be just like,
it would be probably kind of intoxicating. Yeah.
yeah. So that maybe is what is happening there, but
Yeah. Wow, and then, yeah, that's messy, and it's too bad, I think, because we had moments where Lucky and Elizabeth were really just sort of lovely
yeah,
together, you
they
know?
were just kind of gravitating back into their nice thing, and
Yeah, and maybe this is just gonna be like a rocky period that will eventually, they'll get through and come together again, but I don't know. I don't we didn't get long enough to enjoy it, you know?
no, we didn't get them back together. I mean, have they done the nasty yet? We don't even know
I
if they have.
we
They
don't
kept getting
know.
interrupted all the time,
Yeah,
so
that's terrible by the like when she said
that's
her
terrible. Yeah.
when she said when she referred to Aiden as her youngest child, it's like, "Seriously, you've gotta choose different words, people," you know?
So other than child, yeah, my
And youngest, it's like he's like the oldest looking youngest child I've ever seen, you
right.
know? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe the youngest grandpa, but,
Wow, yeah, those little muscly arms. Another big thing we had going on was like so Lois returned and
Yeah, yeah.
we had Brooklyn and Lois kind of hashing things out.
Yeah, yeah, right. Though I
Sort of satisfactorily, but
Mhm.
the next shoe hasn't dropped.
And that feels like, "Oh my god, there's a whole" they just sort of seem like they were rewinding back to this whole, like, storyline again. It's like, "Oh, fuck, now we gotta wait for this whole,
Yeah,
like, yeah, who's the
yeah.
kid?" And yeah,
Well,
all
yeah.
of that.
When's the whole Geo thing gonna drop?
Yeah, so, yeah, that seems like I mean, yeah, of course, it has to come out. We have to deal with all this other shoe, but it sort of feels like, "Oh, can we please fast forward just to the part where, everybody has to deal with the fallout?" Um,
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna drag it out all summer. That's my prediction.
yeah, yeah, you're probably right. And the only part I liked, although maybe she knew this wasn't gonna happen, was when Lois finally said, "If you need to tell,"
Oh yeah, yeah,
eh,
yeah. She was right. Yeah, she was
you know?
supportive there. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
because
need to. Yeah,
before, she's always been trying to steer her,
yeah.
I don't know if that really meant anything, but, and Brooklyn still isn't there, so maybe it was a moot point, but
I do like how they're writing Chase throughout this whole thing. I mean,
yeah.
Chase has
Yeah.
been like uber supportive and like
Yeah.
going over the top with like
Yeah.
uh how understanding he is of all the
Mhm.
feels that are happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
and I guess, I mean, in some way, maybe it's a good distraction from his feelings that he let her down, and not being
yeah,
able
that could
to,
be right.
you know
This is the whole thing of is keeping them from thinking about having their own baby. But
Yeah, Yeah, but,
But
it's been great to see him being so loyal.
yeah, yeah, he's just
Yeah.
so loyal and lovely and
Mhm.
nothing but
Mhm.
like love and support and it's
Yep.
like that's
Yep.
that's nice.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like he's being weak. It feels like he's being
No.
strong, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, no, it's
So,
really nice. It's a nice
mhm.
change up.
Yeah, you go,
Um
Chase.
yeah, go Chase. We love you, Chase. Take his shirt off. What did
Isn't it time for another steam?
yeah, don't we need a steam? Um, what did you think of the scene with Lulu and Cody and the whole like
Well,
her confessing that I'm still so in love with Dante?
well, I thought that was I don't know, it was a teeny bit disingenuous because I thought she had really 2 confessions, right? One was that she has feelings for Dante still, but then the other that, there's a baby that's Dante's. Because does did Cody
Well,
know that?
Cody knows
Cody
that.
knows
Cody,
that, but
well, does he know there's a baby, or does he think that she went to have an abortion and there is?
I
Does
don't
he think that?
yeah,
I don't know.
I
I
don't
should know that, but
remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe he did know there was a baby,
He
but
knows there was a. He knew there was a pregnancy. Whether or not he
yeah.
knows there was a baby, I'm not sure if we know that.
Right, right. Yeah.
We should have paid better attention. We are not good viewers.
We're not really. We get caught up in little things, and we get bogged
Yeah,
down.
like
Let's face it, we
I,
get
I
bogged
want to.
down.
I want to spend a little time talking about champagne glasses when we get to that point. Um,
That point where we talk
yeah,
about the glassware.
about the glassware. Yeah. So yeah, I don't really know. So maybe he doesn't know there's a that there was a live baby. Yeah, maybe he doesn't
Yeah.
know.
I don't remember, but it just felt like when she told him she's had feelings for Dante, I was thinking, "Really? That's it? That's all you have to confess?" That didn't seem like enough to me, but maybe I
Yeah,
was
like as a big confession.
you
Yeah, that didn't
yeah,
seem.
because
Yeah,
anybody can kinda see that, I think. Didn't
I
really
don't know if
seem
I
like
believed how much she like. Does she love him? Seems like she. I don't know.
she's being kind of, yeah, shitty to him,
He seems
really.
so kind of a jerk lately.
Yeah, yeah.
Overall.
I would say so too, Gia. Yeah.
I enjoyed her more earlier. Lately, I've been like, oh, there's Lulu again. God.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. Like, when she left the barn, I was thinking, "She's not really that special." Dante deserves much better.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know? And Cody, I couldn't tell if Cody was sort of a little wistful that she was so devoted to Dante, that maybe he
Oh, do
had
you
some.
think he has a little pants feeling for her?
Well, maybe, like, I thought either that or maybe he just misses, like, the feeling of being in a relationship or having somebody care about him.
Yeah. Well, he
That would be
shouldn't have.
hard.
He shouldn't have cut his hair. I thought he was looking better with
So
long,
you think
slightly.
his chances have shrunk quite a bit because of the
A little
haircut?
bit. There might have been shrinkage, yeah, because he was looking a little more windswept and interesting with his hair a little bit longer, and then he cut it
The
again. He just looks like a bro again. He just looks like a bro,
so,
like a frat boy
uh-huh,
or
and
something,
and
doesn't he?
we demand windswept, apparently, in a man. In our
Windswept and interesting,
Not
yes, yeah.
just in our erotic fiction, but in our stories. But I did like Cody. Like, I am finding him very likable these days.
He is likable. Yeah, he is likable. And that's I think they play that up. They figured out like, oh, this guy plays likable very well. So
Yeah, kind of like Lucas. Like, you kind of feel
yeah,
like these
yeah,
guys aren't
the
like.
buddy thing, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and I was thinking I'm glad that it appears that Cody hasn't been dragged down into something, like with Selena or just something bad because of what's happened to him. It seems like he's trying to keep his shit
that's
together.
true. He's doing his job at the barn there, and yeah,
Yeah, so I hope they continue to keep him like a good guy.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they just go ahead and give him a storyline.
Yeah, yeah, a lady maybe,
What?
maybe a lady, a girlfriend.
Oh,
A love
a
interest.
lady, a love interest. Yeah, Tracy.
Yeah. I know that for some reason she crossed my mind, and I thought, "No, that's a
Yeah,
little too maybe
too far
controversial."
fetched, but it could be
Mhm.
a little Harold and Maude action, you know?
Yeah, we do like them hanging out together, so I'm
Yep.
not opposed to
Yeah.
them just being buddies more. I also kinda
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't mind just scenes with those two, like, are always interesting, I think.
yeah, even if they were just, like, sort of reflecting over, like, loss, disappointment in relationships and things like that. I love a conversation like that, like if
Conversation about loss. Do we wanna talk about
yeah.
loss? Loss.
Well, they
Um,
both experienced pretty serious, devastating losses. I mean, he didn't
yeah,
Sasha didn't die, but that was such a
right.
significant
He
relationship that's
and
just,
that
like,
yeah, got yanked away from him. Yeah.
yanked,
Yeah.
like, just abruptly,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
And gave him some weird pants feelings, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
very yeah.
inappropriate pants
Inappropriate, you
feelings.
might say. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so. Right, right.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of pants feelings,
mhm.
we never wanna really go there, but we probably should talk about Drew and Willow and that all that shit going on.
Oh, we probably should. Yeah, it's funny how they can sort of like leave my mind completely,
Yeah, because 'cause they're so
sometimes.
yucky. They're just
Yeah,
yucky.
and Willow is so like just like a wind up doll or something at this point, you know?
Well, and who said it that it was like a Drew cult,
Yeah, Dawn of the Drew, that was pretty
Dawn
clever.
of Drew, yeah, who said
Yeah.
that? Who was that?
Was that Sasha or somebody
Oh,
else?
I think it was, talking to Jason, yeah.
Yeah,
Jason was
yeah.
just gonna go over there and tell Sasha
Yeah,
to I mean, tell Willow to
Willow.
not move in there, and it was like, that was bad writing. It was like, Jason wouldn't
Yeah.
do that, like,
No,
first of all, he would
no.
never do that
Right.
way anyway.
Right. Yeah, what is like, was he gonna just throw her over his shoulder and take her
Yeah,
home, you
that was
know?
ridiculous, yeah,
Yeah, he's not a caveman, okay?
yeah. But yeah, they're yucky together.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
Drew, like, he's so sort of is insidious the word? I don't know, something about the way he behaves with her. He's always sort of, like, trying to reorient her in a way that
Yeah, like,
she's, like,
right, the discussion of keeping Monica in the
Monica?
kids' lives, and suddenly he's bending over her like a velociraptor and
Yeah.
saying, "It would be better to have Monica come here." It was
Yeah,
like
right,
he's like
right.
just he's physically intimidating, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and of course Monica can't come there, but it seems like yeah, he doesn't want Willow to be have any space between like the world he's trying to like keep her contained in, and this
Yeah,
other world
yeah.
that might sort of try to talk reason to her or remind her of other things that she's giving up.
Right. Yeah, he's total yuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and still, like, where the fuck is his responsibilities to his constituents? I mean, this guy doesn't work, you know?
No, I know he's supposed to be like commuting from Washington, and like we never see him. Yeah. And where
No.
where is his daughter? Where is Scout? Like, so
Yeah.
we see Wiley constantly, but
Yeah.
so where is Scout there somewhere? Like,
That would that would be funny a funny question for Wiley to pose to Drew.
yeah, like is Scout here somewhere?
Is she
Yeah.
gonna live here with us
Yeah.
too?
I know it's all so weird, but and I
Yeah.
like Nina just trying, like constantly like
Yeah,
harping at him
yeah,
and trying to like
right, and
she's
none of
working
the
it as hard as she can, but
she really is, and she's making sense. It's not like she's just
Mhm.
trying to, like, sort of seduce Willow with some other point of view like Drew is
Yeah.
always.
She's like to me in my eyes, she's thoroughly redeemed herself in
Yeah,
like throwing
yeah.
herself at this situation and trying to work it
Mhm.
for the good of her daughter and her grandkids.
Yeah, yeah, and she
Um,
has to walk a pretty fine line because she doesn't wanna lose Willow?
right, right. Yeah, I feel like she's has been quite selfless. I mean, she hasn't revealed the big secret yet.
Right,
Um,
right, and it's seeming less and less big in a
I
way, you
know, I
know?
know. Will that actually have any effect? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
I don't
either.
know.
Hmm.
But to me, like she's been quite selfless in her
Yeah,
goals,
yeah, I
and
agree.
um, and working with Carly, and and I don't know.
Mhm.
Carly's been too busy with the polonium, and
I know, she's had her hands full. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like being all lovey-dovey with Fred
Yeah.
Flintstone there. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm just
I
not
don't
buying
I'm a
those for like squeezing each other's thighs at the
I know that
Metroplex. I
seemed
don't
a
like
little
those
out
things.
of character for him, I thought,
Yeah,
whatever
I was
that
like, ew,
means,
he's like squeezing her thigh, and I like if any guy did that to me, I'd be like, "Are you thinking about how fat my thigh is?" I'd be like,
If you're trying to measure my body fat index, sir, step away.
"Sir," yeah, I'd be like, "Oh, sir." Are you mocking me? Um,
Slap him right across the
yeah,
face. Good day, sir.
yeah, I'm not believing that out of him
Yeah.
either. It's like,
Mm.
and I don't know what I believed it out of the original Brennan. I'm not sure,
No,
but
I don't think
definitely
he would do it doesn't feel like a real classy move. I mean,
no, no.
I'm
It's
not
like
saying I would be opposed to it personally, but
if somebody wants to squeeze your thigh, you're open to that. But
yeah, yeah, let me move closer, but
you're like, did you ever watch what's it called? What's Hyacinth and Daisy
Oh,
on
yeah, yeah, Keeping Up
Keeping
Appearances.
Up Appearances? Yeah, and Daisy with Onslow, her husband.
Mhm,
She's always like
mhm.
so like, "Ooh," you know?
I always liked the vicar. The vicar was so handsome
Oh,
on
the
that
vicar.
show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
God, he was
Anyway,
very pretty.
those people are probably all dead now. Anyway, um,
Uh,
anyway, it's yeah. I'm not believing the Carly Brennan thing, but whatever. And that I guess that kind of brings us to what do you think Joss's mission is?
Oh, well,
And,
I'm
and
wondering
the,
if they're trying to, like, bust Emma or something, or this teacher, like,
yeah, this professor or something.
maybe
Yeah,
he's like an Earth First. Do you remember Earth First, that organization that would,
name's familiar,
like
but what did they do? Is it
they
like
were
a
like eco-terrorists, like, they would put
oh
spikes in trees so the lumber companies
oh
couldn't
yeah
cut
yeah
them down and
okay
stuff like
yeah
that.
like a
There
step further than Greenpeace like
Yeah, I had a teacher when we were at Montana who was, I think, sort of suspected of being one of those people, of being
because
a
we yeah
tree
well we
spiker.
when you and I were in was so we were in school together in Montana. That's exact. I'm going to Montana in June. Isn't that?
I'm
I bought
so
my ticket. I
jealous. Oh,
know.
I'm jealous. I would love to
You
go back to
jelly? Are you
Montana.
jelly?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
only be there like I'm getting there on Thursday night, so I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and then I leave Sunday. So I have very and one of the days is the memorial for my aunt, so I really won't have a
Mhm.
hell of a lot of time. But
Yeah.
I'll try
Mm.
to hit your favorite watering holes.
Okay. Where I did my reading.
Oh God, I don't remember what that was called. I remember that was down on the other end of town. Yeah.
Old Post
Um.
Tavern, I think. This we're talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
Missoula.
yeah.
We've had a little Montana activity on our in our
Oh, have we?
downloads.
So
Yeah,
yeah, we love Missoula, Montana.
we
And
do.
but do you remember the Mammoth Bakery? Like we
Oh, I
used to
love the mammoth. Yeah.
and like they had a rack of like day old and then 2 day old and then 3 day old and 4 day like they had like we were getting pastries from like 8 day old, whatever.
And they're just rocks.
Yeah. But that place and then there was like a coffee shop. I had a t-shirt from it for a million years.
Oh, Butterfly Cafe, or was
Yeah,
that what it was
something like
called? The
that. Yeah,
Butterfly?
butterfly
Yeah.
espresso or something like that, or
Yeah. Missoula is a
that
great
place.
town.
And yeah, yeah. Anyway, looking
Mhm.
forward to it.
Yeah.
What the hell
Mm.
were we talking about?
Oh, Joss
Oh,
and
yeah,
her
Josh. Yeah,
assignment.
yeah. But when
Yeah.
we were in Missoula, the whole what was the owl that was endangered? That
Hmm.
people were spiking the. There was battles going on between the environmentalists and the loggers.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah.
The great horned owl or something like that.
Could have been, yeah. Yeah, that what my teacher was. I took I think it was an environmental writing class or something like that. That sounds like made
Really?
up, and that
Huh.
doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. I don't know what it was,
No,
but
there
he
is
was.
environmental writing. What was the guy?
Yeah.
What was the guy that was kind of
It could
like
have
a
been the great
nature?
horned owl. Yeah.
what was the author that got pretty well known that we liked? That was like a
Rick
nature
Bass?
site.
Rick
Yeah,
Bass?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh. You loved him.
I did love him. Remember that night we all were like so drunk and we like
Where?
signed everything we were signing, pretending we were him, and we were signing each other's like shoes and jeans and stuff. And
That was money well spent, wasn't it? That degree.
well, I didn't spend that much because I had that TA thing, so I was pretty good.
Well,
But
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that was smart.
I spent a fair amount on tequila, though. I mean, oh, that was a great
Anyway.
couple years. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, so maybe that professor, because they did point out his name a couple
Yeah, a
times,
couple times. Right, right. Um,
so we don't know
yeah.
what that's about. But
No.
Emma and Joss are gonna clash, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Because maybe Joss will find herself on the horns of a moral dilemma. Maybe she'll feel like this
Mm,
guy, this professor is doing the right thing or something. I don't know. It's gonna be
yeah, yeah.
interesting. But,
But and I mean, I'm fully admitting that like I've come completely around on the Emma issue. Like I find Emma appealing now and
mhm,
vulnerable, and
mhm, mhm. Yeah, she's got a bit of integrity, doesn't she?
she's got some integrity, and she's got this.
Hello? Oops. Oh, no. Did you leave, Gia? I can't hear you right now. Gia? Hello, Gia? Gia? Hello, Gia?
Still here.
Oh, there you are. Oh, thank God.
Oh God, I don't know what happened. Oh
Uh,
no. Okay.
it was just like an awkward, like maybe a minute. So I think we'll
All
just
right.
like apologize and carry on.
Yeah, we're just gonna ride through it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. Shit, okay.
Oh,
I just knocked over
there's
my mic. Okay.
okay. That was a real noise. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, are
Okay.
we to the point where we could talk about champagne glasses yet?
Well, did we say enough about Emma? Because you
Oh,
cut out there. I
yeah.
don't
Okay.
know.
Well, I find her likable. As much as I hated her, now I'm kind of
Yeah.
loving her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like I don't know how they did that, but that was one of the fastest sort of like tr transformations, I guess, from
I
like
don't know. We're so malleable, I guess.
I guess we're like
Um,
Willow.
maybe. Yeah. We're
We're just empty-headed,
But
sort
and
of
I like she and
vapid.
Geo. Like I like that Geo's. Yeah, I like that Geo is liking her, and defending her, and
Yeah,
like they've got each
yeah.
other's backs already. And I don't
Mhm.
know
Yeah, I do
what's
too.
the matter with us. We're idiots, I guess. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, that's true. We are. Um, but yeah, I'm glad we're liking Emma because it was hard to have a character that we disliked so much,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
because she was like, if she's gonna be a buddy of Geo's, who we do like so much, I want her to be like, worthy of him, of his
yeah.
companionship, you know.
Yeah, and I'm feeling like there's integrity in their relationship, and that they're like building
Mhm.
this slowly. Like we
Mhm.
complain frequently that we don't see enough interaction, like with
Yeah.
couples or friends. We want to see more, and I feel like they're doing it properly with these two. Like we're seeing
Yeah.
them doing stuff together and not just instantly sleeping together or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Yeah, I
"Oh, thank
agree.
you,
You're
thank
welcome.
you."
That was like 2 varies, 2
Wow.
But, yeah, because I mean, he's such a good guy. I love that, when she said something about Josh being entitled and all that, and like, that he stuck up? Stood up. What?
I was just gonna go with it. Whatever you want to
Stuck
say.
Well, we have Dilly, and now we have Stook.
Stuck up. He stuck up for her. Yeah.
But,
He
you know,
stood
that
up
he
or he stuck up? Stood or
stuck
stuck?
up, yeah,
Yeah,
like, that he
yeah.
didn't just let her get away with making an observation like that. He had to, like, go back and sort of let her know that Joss had been through some shit, I was so
Yeah,
glad that he did
yeah.
that, because it's so
Yeah, because
easy to just sorta
I've never thought of Joss as, like, an entitled kind of young person, like, that's
no,
not really
no.
her.
But I guess,
Yeah.
like, if you had missed all of that drama, with Trina and Esme, all that shit that went on in Cam,
Yeah,
maybe, like, what Emma saw was a sort of a more sort of just spoiled, everything goes her way kind of a person,
I suppose so, like, she's a cheerleader, but,
Yeah.
cheerleaders have their troubles too, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
she
know.
was a really good volleyball player
Yeah,
also.
she could spike it. Yeah,
Yeah, mhm.
yeah. Do we wanna talk about champagne glasses yet?
I guess so.
I looked it up a while back, and,
A flute? A champagne
yeah.
flute?
So what got me thinking about it was they were drinking out of what I thought were kind of unusual glasses.
Mhm.
Maxie and Lucy and Sidwell when they were
Mhm.
toasting their deal, and I was like,
Mm.
"Is that champagne?" And I think it indeed was supposed to. It was probably ginger ale,
Yeah,
but
okay, good guess.
so I'm not sure that. So compared to the champagne flute, the champagne coupe is
Huh.
wider and shorter.
Oh,
This means you'll
interesting.
get more delicious champagne per glass, but you'll also lose fizz more easily. There's more
Uh-huh.
space for the bubbles to move around and
Uh-huh.
oxygen to interact with the wine, so the
Mm.
flavors and aromas develop over time. So, what were we seeing there? Well, those glasses were they were kind of square.
Huh. Yeah,
Did you
well,
notice them?
I can't say that I did really pay attention to the glasses, Gee, I'm sorry, I know that's disappointing. Um,
Huh.
you think that was a poor choice on their part?
No, no, I just thought maybe I don't know enough about which glassware to choose for a different beverage.
Oh, well, yeah, I think it's important to, continue to educate yourself when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, and I think if I'm gonna have champagne, which I haven't
Yeah.
had in like, it's been probably years since I've had a glass of
Really?
champagne.
Too long, huh?
Too
Mm.
long. I love it. Um,
You're I like your sexy voice. It
when I talk
slides so
about
it
alcohol,
slides
it's
so
always
quickly
related to
into, like, creepy and maybe
something
criminal.
crazy, and it's always dealing with alcohol. I think. Oh, I love it. Yeah. They were kind of square, and I thought, does that do something for it? Like, I don't
Huh.
know.
Well,
There's
yeah,
a
I don't
lot
know,
of
like,
different
the it
options,
seems
but
like the champagne flute, those long, skinny glasses, those have been around for
yeah,
so long, that you'd think
yeah,
they would've,
yeah.
like, worked out why that was the best way to
With
go.
something to do with the whole carbonation, apparently.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
fizziness, but
yeah.
well,
Then the
that's all I
surface
had to say,
area.
really.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay, I'm a little
Yeah,
disappointed.
I
Hmm.
know. I just you don't know anything about it, so what do you care?
But I care that you care, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've even been sick on champagne and I still love it, so that's like
wow, that's a
that
relationship.
that's strong. Like I
Yeah.
won't eat Reese's peanut butter
Oh,
cups anymore.
'cause you
Um,
got sick on them?
yep. And I
I
don't
respect the hell out of you for that.
they hold no appeal. Um,
Really? How long ago did they make you sick?
a year ago.
Just a year. Okay, well, I'm gonna give it
Yeah.
a little more time then.
Give it more time. Well, they
Yeah.
weren't a favorite anyway. They were just
Oh,
there. Yeah. They
really?
weren't yeah.
Okay.
But various alcohols I've been ill on, like,
Yeah.
I don't think I could have a rum and coke ever again in my life.
Yeah, that seems like mixing Coke with liquor seems so weird to me, but I know a lot of people do it, so,
Well, like,
uh
when I was in high school, you mixed whatever soda you had with alcohol. So,
yeah, huh.
I mean, it was most frequently a Coke, but I mean, we would mix like
Mhm.
Tab. Like, that was back when Tab was the only
Yeah,
diet drink.
yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Right.
Whatever. We would mix whatever with it. And
Mhm,
but
mhm.
I think even the smell of a rum and Coke would do me in,
Really?
you know.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think so
yeah, uh-huh. Well,
because you don't. Yeah, you don't know what you're doing at that point, so you get so ill.
Right. Right. Yeah, it can go bad fast. I was gonna say maybe for our 100,000th download, we'll have to pop a cork on a
Oh,
bottle of
all
champagne, you
right.
know?
When's that gonna
Okay.
happen?
Well, I forget where we're at now. Let me see. You keep talking and I'll tell you how many downloads we have.
La la la. What a Sigmund and the
La
Sea Monster. What a cute
Oh,
monster.
no. Why
Oh,
does that have to be
I,
your default topic?
I don't know. Like something you're not gonna talk about.
Yeah, I get
What other Saturday
we're
morning
at
show?
86,000 downloads now.
Ooh, okay. We're doing pretty good then.
So yeah, uh, I'd say so that's 14,000 to go to get to 100.
All right. Well, okay.
Maybe,
Yeah, we can.
yeah, yeah, we'll be there soon. Maybe
Cool.
after, probably after you get back from Montana.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. Well, then
all
maybe
right.
we could, if we have a July get together, we could make it happen
Yeah.
then.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be ideal if we could
something like that. Yeah.
get
Yeah.
completely drunk and maybe throw up, while we're recording.
Okay, that's a goal. There's a life goal.
I bet the other General Hospital podcasts don't give you that.
They probably don't. They don't give you like we've only been well. We've I guess we probably have had a few drinks together, but I remember one epic night in Montana when like I'd never seen you as soused as you were that night. I'd seen
I
me as soused as that,
Yeah,
but I'd never seen
yeah.
you as soused as
Mhm.
that. Were
Yeah.
you ill that night?
It's
If you
possible.
weren't, you should have been.
I remember once, and this would have been our first year, maybe even our first like semester or whatever, when I was in the dorm. I do remember throwing up in the dorm bathroom and it was like all it was pink because I just had like a bunch of Pepto-Bismol. So it was just
Oh
like a
God,
pink explosion in the bathroom.
lovely. Well, I just remember that night that you and I and lovely Jody went out, and
Mhm.
the night culminated with us polishing off her husband's
Yeah.
like special bottle of scotch that he'd gotten from his boss or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Yeah.
we are not going to come back from this. But
No, I know. I wonder if they're still married.
I
She
know
We
we
inadvertently
killed
destroyed
that
a
marriage
marriage.
that night. Yeah,
That's what we do.
I think we hit like every bar on Front Street that night, and then went back to her place or whatever.
Oh,
Ah,
man.
youth, good times.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
want to talk about General Hospital anymore? You got anything else? I don't know if like
Um,
no, I mean there was some more like Tracy and Jason a little
yeah,
bit.
and I
I
kinda
don't know,
like their
just kind of
dynamic, I would like a little more of that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
maybe better content, because there's no way that she
yeah,
can tell Jason to just, like, go take care that all seemed kinda lame, like,
yeah. There wasn't any
defending.
sparkly anything about that
Yeah,
conversation.
because
Yeah.
they could do better with those 2, I think. We also had, and I don't know if we have the stamina to go into this in a proper way, but the whole Jordan, Laura,
Oh right, you're
Sunny.
right. Those two teaming up. Yeah. I like that they're gonna do that.
Yeah, yeah, and I like
So
Curtis's sort of input here, I think,
yeah. I mean, I like that Jordan we'd seen Jordan earlier expressing her opinion about
Mhm.
Sonny
Right.
and the and Laura's relationship, and then I thought
Mhm.
they were going to go with her not backstabbing Laura, but kind of
Right, right, yeah, right.
um,
Maybe use
her
that. Mhm.
yeah, and so I kind of like oh okay, she's gonna like inform Laura, and they're gonna use this.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
mhm.
like that they're teaming up on that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I was glad that Laura's gonna loop Sunny in, although that does kinda proves the point that she's too close to him, you
Too
know?
close, yeah, and is it gonna? is this going to be something that'll make him put the surgery off again? I don't know. The whole
Who
surgery thing.
knows? I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
yeah,
he's gotta be a ticking bomb at this point with all the
yeah,
stress in his life,
yeah.
you know?
And there's a little bit of like just thinking he's so important that he can't take the break to
Right,
have the
right.
surgery. It's a little bit
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm so self-important that I can't even stop to.
yeah,
It's like, well, what do you
right.
do? What do you do each day? I don't know.
He just seemed to hang out at, like,
Yeah,
at your Pizzulo place, and
yeah, yeah.
entertain visitors, various places.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I like that the Jordan storyline, and I don't know, she and so we got a little more she and Isaiah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not bowled over with their chemistry yet, but
Not yet, no. I mean,
yeah,
it's always gonna impress me if a woman can land a man who does the cooking.
yeah, I did that. Are you impressed with me?
I am, kudos.
I mean, he doesn't really cook for me, but like
But he cooks.
he cooks. I don't have to cook for him. That's what
Yeah,
matters. Yeah.
okay, that's not what I meant, but okay, good for you.
Oh, I was dismissed from the cooking duties like within a year
You're not to
of
come in
marriage.
here.
No, it's just like you don't need to cook my dinner. And we've coexisted happily for 30 plus years with that.
Yep, nothing wrong with
And
that.
I know, but it puzzled my mother. She like, and to me it
Mhm,
was like, well, that's fine. He's a better cook than me. He'd rather
mhm,
cook for
mhm.
himself. Like it doesn't.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't really give a rat's ass so much what I eat.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
like I'm
Yeah.
fine with the crap I make for myself. You know. But it
Uh,
is. I guess it's different than a lot of people. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, it amazes me, like, still to hear, like, a married woman, like, or that I know, like, young married women who work full time just like their husbands do, and they still feel like, "Oh, I gotta figure out what to make for dinner,"
What to make for dinner? I know. I was
you
always like,
know?
I know. I tried to express this to my father in later years. Like, isn't it amazing that mom, his wife,
Mhm.
my mother,
Yep.
like she didn't love cooking. It wasn't
Mhm.
like she wasn't like oh, I'm gonna try this, and
Yeah.
yet every single day she fed all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's
and
a
he was like,
lot.
he thought I was insulting. He was like, no, she was a good cook. I was saying like, no, I'm not saying she didn't do a good job. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like that wasn't her passion, and
Right,
yet
right.
she made that her business to make sure we were all
Yeah, and
fed, and
it's a thankless job. Like, I
it
remember we were
really
in
is.
it
Yeah.
was impossible to sasatisfy all of us,
Yeah.
when we were
Yeah.
kids. So, yeah,
Although
hats off.
we were not like you didn't complain. Like that was not like cool to complain about
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
don't know about in your household, but there
I
was
I
no.
I guess we had permission to complain, and we shouldn't
Oh,
have.
did you? Like we were not like there wasn't going to be a separate, you know,
Yeah,
like option made for you if you said you didn't
uh-huh,
like that
uh-huh.
particular can of chunky chili, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, thank
But
God for
anyway,
canned goods, huh?
yeah, anyway, I was freed of that like
Mhm.
chore. I mean, maybe it would have been different if we didn't end up having kids. I don't know. But
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just applaud Jordan if she's got a guy who's gonna make her meals for her, then I think that's one less
a
thing you have
guy
to
that's
worry
gonna
about.
make meals for you and is like quite hot. Yeah,
He's pretty, he's a very pretty man, yeah, and he seems
quite
quite
handsome. Yeah.
nice, seems quite pleasant.
Yep. And he's a doctor. Like
He's a
checks all the
doctor.
boxes.
All the
Yeah.
boxes, yeah, so
Yeah.
good for you, Jordan.
You go, Jordan. Yep.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I kind of feel like, like this sort of cozying up to Sidwell at the risk of ruining her relationship with Isaiah. That I don't know if that's smart or not.
um well, I think he should. I mean, she's doing a job there. I mean, like he shouldn't make
Yeah.
their relationship dependent on whether or not she's going after Sidwell.
I
I mean,
know, but it's so dangerous. I can understand why he's got reservations about it, you know?
well, right, right, yeah, but she should be allowed to be a free agent, and
I guess so. I guess. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if she really understands the danger. She's like
No,
Anna, you
right,
know, they all think
yeah,
they're super capable and then we have
right, and they're not. Yeah, I mean,
very little
we
evidence.
don't
Yeah.
know if Jordan's a good shot or not. We know Anna is not.
When yeah. No.
Yeah,
No.
not a good
Right.
shot.
Hope
But
she's got to be a little better than Anna, let's hope.
I'm a better shot than Anna, I think.
I am too. I believe I am too.
Probably. I've
Yeah.
only shot a gun like once in my life, but I think I'd be a better shot.
Yeah. I'm good with a mounted weapon. I'm gonna just put that
Yeah?
out there. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you mounted on?
Oh, well, like the top of a like a Humvee or whatever, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
We're just gonna let people wonder about that. Okay.
Just leave it at that.
Just leave it at that. Yeah. Mounted weapon. She's good with a
Yeah.
mounted weapon. Okay. All right. Well,
Uh,
I think we've done it again.
whatever it is, yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
we did it.
done. We
Yeah.
killed it.
We
Okay.
killed it. We slapped it on a bing bong. Yeah.
On a what? A bing bong?
We slapped it on a bing bong. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, we'll do it again in a few days. All right.
Yeah, we will. Okay, Gia, sounds
Okay.
wonderful.
And thanks everybody for listening and for participating on our Facebook page. That's been fun. And
Yeah, and feel free to jump ship if, you know, you just get tired of pretending to go along with Gia and you wanna just finally be honest, you know, and say you don't know what the hell she's talking about. You know, that would be great. You're
right.
welcome. You're welcome to join Team Keisha.
You can if uh, for folks that are maybe older that haven't seen some of the shows older like
Or aren't
Keisha.
familiar with shows that were in color like Gia.
So we're killer. Yeah. Oh no, no, I'm just joking because obviously I wasted my youth and a lot of my adulthood watching too much TV,
Oh,
and so
I love TV. There's almost nothing I love more than TV.
okay.
Almost nothing.
All right, well, let's talk about TV again in a few days.
Okay, alright, and thank you for putting up with our
Okay.
technical difficulties, everybody. I
Yes, we
appreciate that.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Alright.
We have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye, Gia.
Yeah, bye.